The world is demanding to know two things. One, at what point will we as the human race succumb to the effects of global warming? And two, where in the world is Kate Middleton? Hey everyone, and welcome back to Tea with Bree. If you're new here, welcome. This is a place where we get cozy, we grab our tea, and we indulge in a little bit of girly goss. If that sounds good to you, subscribe, join us. Today is a hot button topic. You're not gonna wanna miss it. I mean, the tea I picked out today is lemon meringue. It's getting crazy. That's kind of how you know the topic and the tea are crazy. Y'all aren't prepared. Also, a moment for the mug. I mean, look, she even comes with a... So I haven't been feeling great this week, but the internet really took a nosedive and I felt compelled to make a video about this and to dive a little bit deeper into this topic. One, because of deep personal interest, but two, because of greater societal norms and context that I feel like this topic touches on. So the topic that we're talking about today, our girl, Kate Middleton. I'm gonna assume that all of you know who she is. And if you don't, honey, I can't catch you up on that. It's too late for you. Before we get into it, listen, I'm talking to you, like look me in my eyes when I speak to you, okay? This is going to be filled with amateur journalism and investigation, occasionally jokes and occasionally social commentary. If those are things that because of health reasons you cannot physically handle or embody, I'll ask you to step off the ride now. If you're just going to get upset and type your little rages down below, that's what Twitter's for. Go type your rage on Twitter, or X as they call it, you know what I'm saying? But just go there. Like, truly, I have migraines, it's been a terrible week, and I don't have the time today. I just don't.
Broken sauce, chef, need a new one.
Yes, chef. So, if you're gonna continue to watch this and not provide thoughtful commentary or interesting discussion or your own unhinged opinions, I'm just going to comment a shitload of potato emojis underneath everything you say and encourage everyone else to do the same. And that is what they call the peasant's punishment. So you may or may not have heard that Kate Middleton has not been seen in about 2 months. You've probably seen news articles picking it up at this point because it is strange. And Twitter and Reddit and TikTok and Instagram have all been running rife with absolutely deranged speculation about where she is, about why it's being hidden, about the potential cover-ups that could be happening. And I feel compelled to break everything down for you, to give you the official timelines, and to add a little bit of my, secret investigative journalism sauce in there. But before we get into Kate Middleton specifically, there's some things you need to know just like about what's been happening within the royal family. Like, it's been a rough year. It's been a rough couple of months. Like, Queen Elizabeth has passed away. I'm sure we've all heard about that. Harry and Meghan have either been cut off from the royal family or cut themselves off. It depends on whose POV you're taking on that. But either way, they are more or less excommunicated, either self-imposed or other imposed, and they are no longer a part of the machine that is the British royal family. King Charles was finally coronated, only to later recently come out that he is suffering from cancer and dealing with that diagnosis. I don't believe it was specified what kind of cancer he has. It doesn't need to be. Cancer sucks, full stop, period. Sarah Ferguson, who is the Duchess of York, Fergie, she also has just recovered from a bout of breast cancer, and now it's come out that she has been diagnosed with skin cancer and is dealing with that. Thomas Kingston, husband of Prince William's cousin, who was only 45, passed away. There's been lots of speculation about how he passed away. However, recently, just this morning, it broke that by Page 6, so take this how you will, but it broke that there was a gun found near the body and it's thought to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and that's how he passed away. On top of all this, I mean, this is happening all in a very, very truncated timeline. for the royal family. You have Kate Middleton, who is just gone from the public eye. And we're going to talk about why. Let's break it down. Official timelines starting now. First, December 22nd, it is announced that the Duke and Duchess of Wales are going to be taking a trip to Italy in early 2024. So the reason I'm bringing this up, it will all make sense at the end. Just try and remember some of these key points. Then we have Christmas, December 25th, 2023. We have Catherine, William, and the kids all stepping out at the church service, which is their tradition, and they were photographed there. And this is the last place Catherine has been photographed in public or really seen by anyone.
Yes, chef.
Say yes, chef. Yes, chef. Say yes, chef.
A point that less of the news services are reporting on is that on December 28th, an ambulance with a royal escort leaves the residence that the royal family spends Christmas at every year. Interesting. No news sources reported on this. There wasn't much media. There is videos on Twitter that I was able to find. I'm not obviously the one who discovered this. I'm just compiling information for you, but it's just interesting. It's an interesting point. Keep it in mind. January 6th. So Kate hasn't been seen. There's this ambulance that's reportedly left the residence where they spent Christmas. January 6th, a lot of gossip rags and news rags start to report that William and Kate both have very ferocious tempers and get into very big fights. Interesting timing of such a report. Then January 17th, Kensington Palace, which is the spokesperson for William and Kate, releases a statement that says that the Princess of Wales has been admitted to the hospital the previous day for a planned abdominal surgery. Very emphasis that it was planned and that it was scheduled, where she'll stay for up to 2 weeks and resume her royal engagements in, I think, Easter in April when she's recovered. On January 29th, 2024, Kensington Palace announces that Kate has gone home to Windsor to continue to recover. It's said that William's going to cut back on his royal duties and postpone many engagements to help with the kids while Kate recovers. Then February 5th, Charles announces, or it comes out, there's a statement released that Charles has been diagnosed with cancer. February 13th, we have Pippa Middleton's vacation pictures supposedly posted. It's difficult with these because the Daily Mail picked it up, a lot of different news outlets picked it up, and she seemed to be very happy and smiling, which would seemingly convey that her sister's all right. However, it is difficult to say, are these pictures actually from this date, etc., but we'll get into all of that. On February 27th, Prince William abruptly pulls out of a memorial service for King Constantine of Greece, which was his father's late cousin, due to a personal matter, which people are like, well, that's kind of sus to pull out at such a late hour. But also, you think, Fergie's got cancer, his father's got cancer, Kate has obviously been recovering. Like, it seems like there's a lot of things that could be going on here. But later that afternoon, the death of Thomas Kingston breaks, which apparently the royal family sat on for about 48 hours, I think, before releasing any kind of news to the press, because he died 2 days earlier on February 25th. Then we move on to February 28th, where hashtag Where is Kate Middleton is trending on Twitter. And I mean trending. I was deeply on Twitter during this time, given I was just sitting in bed most of these days. And it was like on Wednesday, there was like a trickle of like, Kate Middleton. It wasn't trending, but I saw a couple things on the timeline that were interesting. Thursday, it reached an absolute fever pitch, and then today it's just exploded and actual news outlets are reporting on it, and it's insane. It's crazy. So the steady increase of people wondering where she is and why there hasn't been any pictures and all of these things, all of that kind of has just been breaking in the last few days, which made me think, oh, surely Kensington Palace, these royal reps will release like a picture of her or something at this point, just because the interest has reached like a fever pitch. Like people are so invested in this, and there's so much scrutiny toward the royal family and toward the palace and toward the machine that is both of those things. Even still, after that, there's only a statement released to page 6. It's not even a statement, it's like a very off-the-cuff short thing that says this: Kensington Palace made it clear in January the timeline of the princess's recovery, and that we'd only be providing significant updates. That guidance stands. Sus. So all this to say, where is Kate Middleton? You might be like, this is just stupid internet drama. Like, this is just people stirring up shit. Like, we don't really need to talk about this. That's where I disagree with you, baby girls. I came into this thinking, oh, you know, we're just gonna crack some jokes, show some like, is Kate Middleton Banksy kind of memes, which have been floating around the internet. But then the deeper I got, the darker and more sinister it felt. I mean, this is a woman who like, the day after giving birth to her children is like in pantyhose with a full blowout being paraded in front of everybody. And you don't get to tell me that she has like a ton of choice and a ton of autonomy in this system and this machine, right? There's like duty and responsibility and understanding what the job entails and blah, 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 blah. There's all of those things, but there's not a lot of free will or personal choice. I saw some comments of like, oh, well, she might just have surgery. She might just like not want to be seen, but it is concerning because it's like, she doesn't have that much free will or autonomy in the relationship and the system that she's in. So it's like, for all of this scrutiny to be piled onto the palace and to still not see like a single picture of her, it's just like the lies on, it's like the vague lies are just like toppling. It's like a tumbling tower. It's like Jenga, right? The lies are toppling over on top of each other. The vague lies about planned abdominal surgery. I mean, if the abdominal surgery was so planned and so scheduled, why did they release something about them going to Italy in early 2024? And why had they not already canceled all of the engagements that she then had to cancel once she went in to this planned surgery? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like not adding up. And granted, even an emergency surgery is scheduled. Any surgeon will tell you this. There's a board for these things. But that is not what the colloquial use of the word implies. And I think that's very deceitful. And that's basically essentially just a lie, putting that out into a statement. So it's like, things are just not adding up. In a weird way, they handled Thomas Kingston's death. The fact that different media outlets were floating that she would maybe be gone for 9 months instead of 3 months. And it's like, when news and gossip rags float something, it's usually because they're trying to see how it sits with the public before the palace releases an official statement about something. And so it's like, when you see media outlets floating like, oh, Kate might be gone for 9 months instead of 3 months, it's kind of like, I'm concerned. Because you want to believe, right, that like, if she's sick and really had a very intense surgery, that she is allowed to just take care of her mental health and step away from the spotlight and just be someone who can recover, right? You just like want to believe that, but that is just not at all the royal industrial complex that we've seen in the past. I mean, look at Diana, look at Meghan and Harry. I mean, the treatment of peripheral women in this system is bad. I think we can say that point blank, and I don't think there can be like a ton of argument about that. It's not about like what Kate wants or what Kate needs. It's about deflecting bad press and bad attention away from the complex and away from the family. And there's a ton of bad press and bad attention coming toward the family, given the fact that Kate is not seen. There's all these conspiracy theories running wild, and they would release a picture of her if they could. Makes me think they can't. Why can't they? I've seen theories floating around that there has been botched plastic surgery. I really don't think that's the case. If she was planning to have plastic surgery, it would have been so many months in advance, and I think she would have marked it off the calendar, and she wouldn't have had all these other events planned. Like, it just, that doesn't really add up to me. Like, you really plan something like that, especially in an industrial complex like the one you're existing in, years in advance. So I don't think that's it. It could be that Kate wants out. You know, there are rumors that maybe she just wants a divorce and she's over it and she is tired of the bullshit and she wants to go and she's not going to play this game anymore. I mean, that could be something, but lying about it being something medical and the ambulance scene leaving the residence where they spend Christmas, it's just not, I don't know, you know? I think a divorce also can be dealt with, especially given the one Charles had with Diana. Like, it's almost precedent at this point. It's not ideal, but it can happen. Why there would be some weird medical cover-up for divorce, like, doesn't even make logical media sense. So that one seems less likely to me as well. Now, is it possible that it was a very serious, like, emergency surgery and they just don't want people to know how serious it is or freak out or yada, yada, yada? That's totally possible. I think that theory could be true, but it just seems strange. I mean, they were able to say that Fergie has cancer and Charles has cancer. Those are obviously extremely serious illnesses that require a ton of time away. And it's almost indeterminate amount of time. Like, you don't exactly know how much time those sicknesses will take to recuperate from. So it's kind of like, why would they lie about the severity of the illness if it is severe when they're already kind of fessing up to how severe these other illnesses are? Other theories I've seen is that it's more domestic abuse related, that there was some kind of confrontation that night and that Kate was taken to the hospital, probably because William did something, and that's why she had to have the surgery, and that she isn't doing well, and that's why there's this huge, like, effort to cover things up. I mean, maybe, but why was her sister seen on vacation in February looking like she's having an absolute blast? I mean, that doesn't really make sense, you know? There's the other theory that Kate's in a coma, like a Spanish journalist broke that she had a royal source that said that Kate was in a coma, essentially. And the press, the royal family, the palace really tried to suppress this news, which they don't do with every rumor, so always interesting to see what they try and suppress and what they let go. But they were like, no, absolutely not, this is ridiculous. And the Spanish journalist doubled down on this idea that Kate was in a coma and that she heard it from her inside source. So that could be something. But again, do you really think Pippa is going to be on vacation just skipping around with her kids in the sun while her sister's, like, in a coma? Again, I don't know. Maybe the royal family pressured her to go on vacation. Maybe her and Kate are just laughing about this whole thing. It's just interesting. I just find it interesting, but, like, not interesting in, like, a haha, like, just, we just gotta goss, you know, kind of way. Interesting in, like, a really concerning kind of way. Like, it's just not adding up, and it's not adding up in, like, a increasingly more disturbing kind of way. It's giving Gone Girl energy, except if Gone Girl had gone the other way. Because if you think about it, I mean, the power imbalance in this situation is so extreme. I mean, who has the power in the situation? The family, which is William, which is the vested interests of him and the line of succession and keeping up appearances. Like, she is peripheral to all of that. And so the power is not in her hands, nor does she have the advocates, I think, that you would hope. And with such a power imbalance exists, especially for a woman where power imbalances exist always, you do feel a little bit, you know, alarmed because of the things that can be covered up and hidden and pushed away. And one theory that did make me laugh, I'll admit, was this idea that Camilla was salt burning the royal family. Because again, you look at all the things that I've said above that's happening to them and you kind of are like, fair. I mean, maybe she just wants to be the only one left. Like, who can say? Either way, Kate, we hope you're well. Our thoughts are with you, Queen, literally. And hopefully this kind of scrutiny does put more pressure on extremely powerful institutions to be a bit more forthcoming with information where power imbalances are so extreme. And I'll leave it at that. See y'all next week.